The siren was a single screaming note inside my skull, a sound that seemed to be stitching the world back together around me, one jagged piece at a time. And the pain in my leg was a white-hot sun. But for a single, stupid, beautiful second I thought, I did it, I'm free, the plan had worked. The wet road, the sharp turn, the ancient oak tree that I'd aimed for like a finish line. It was over, Jonah's was gone, then my vision cleared. They were loading another stretcher into the ambulance right beside mine, and that's when I saw him. It was Jonas's face. The same strong jaw, the same dark hair plastered to his forehead with sweat and something else. My stomach lurched, but the scar, the tiny white line above his left eyebrow from when he'd accidentally slammed a car door on my face 2 years ago, the one I traced with my eyes every time I was trying to gauge his mood, it was gone. The skin was smooth, unbroken, and he was smiling at me. Not Jonas's smile, that tight, thin-lipped thing that was more of a warning than a sign of happiness. No, this was a slow, knowing, almost amused smile. It was the smile of a stranger wearing my monster's face, and it turned my blood to ice. A woman in a blue uniform leaned over me, her face a mask of professional concern. Her voice was calm, syrupy, meant to soothe. "Don't you worry, Anya," she said, checking the IV in my arm. "Your husband Jonas, he's all right. He's in the other ambulance talking to the police. This here is his twin brother, Elias. You're a very lucky woman, he was right behind you on the road when it happened." The world didn't just tilt. It shattered, the siren, the pain, the metallic taste in my mouth. It all faded into a deafening roar in my ears. Jonas doesn't have a brother, he doesn't have a twin, he's an only child. His mother used to lament it all the time, how she wished she'd had another, maybe one that wasn't so difficult. I know this. I know this like I know my own name. But the paramedic's eyes were full of pity, the kind you give to someone who's hit their head too hard. And the man on the other stretcher, he was still smiling. They put me in a private room. The quiet after the chaos of the ER was a different kind of loud. It was filled with the hum of the machines I was hooked up to and the frantic hamster wheel spinning of my own thoughts. The morphine they'd given me was a heavy wool blanket on my body, but my mind was a live wire sparking with terror. I was trapped. The plan hadn't just failed. It had backfired in a way so bizarre, so specific, that it felt like a personalized nightmare tailored just for me. A nurse, a kind-faced woman named Carol, came in to check my vitals. She fluffed my pillow and spoke in that same placating tone as the paramedic. "Your husband is just a saint, you know that. He's been down in admissions, handling all the paperwork just so you wouldn't have to worry. And his brother, Elias, he hasn't left the hallway, such a good family." "No," I croaked, my throat raw. "No, you don't understand. Jonas doesn't have a brother. That man, he's a liar. He's not who he says he is." Carol's smile tightened, becoming a little less kind and a lot more clinical. "Honey, you've had a serious shock. A concussion can do funny things to your memory. It's called post-traumatic stress. It's very common." She patted my hand, a gesture that was meant to be comforting but felt like a dismissal. "Just get some rest. Everything will be clearer in the morning." But it wasn't. An hour later, the door opened and Jonas walked in. He was the picture of a concerned husband. His clothes were rumpled, his face etched with worry, but it was all a performance. I could see it in the tiny, triumphant glint in his eyes that no one else would ever notice. It was the same look he had when he'd convinced my own mother that the bruises on my arms were from me being clumsy. "Anya, darling," he said, his voice a low, soothing balm of poison. He rushed to my bedside, taking my hand in his. His touch was cold. Then he stepped aside, and the man from the ambulance, Elias, appeared in the doorway. He stood there, a little hesitant, a perfect mirror image of my husband, minus the scar and plus a look of gentle concern. They stood side by side, a diabolical, perfectly matched set. My breath caught in my chest. It was so real, so utterly convincing that for a terrifying split second I wondered if I was the one who was wrong. "Anya," Jonas said, his voice dripping with false sympathy. "I'm so sorry, I know we never really talked about Elias. It's complicated, but he's here now. We're both here for you." My world wasn't an island anymore. It was a single, solitary cell, and the walls were the pitying faces of everyone who believed I was crazy. And Jonas, my loving, perfect husband, was holding the key. I'm writing this from a hospital bed, hiding my phone under the blanket every time I hear footsteps in the hall. My hands are shaking so bad I can barely type. Please, if anyone reads this, I need help. I need someone to tell me I'm not losing my mind. My husband Jonas is a monster. Not the kind that hits you every day and leaves obvious marks. He's the other kind, the worst kind, the kind that isolates you so slowly you don't even notice it's happening. He tells your friends you're going through a phase so they stop calling. He manages the finances until you don't have a dollar to your name. He critiques every meal, every outfit, every word you say, until your whole personality is just a desperate attempt to please him. For 5 years, I've been living in a cage with invisible bars. So I made a plan, a stupid, desperate movie of the week plan. I was going to crash our car, not to kill him, God no. Just to get out, to create enough chaos that I could disappear in the aftermath. An injury, a hospital stay, a moment where his guard was down. I picked a spot on a back road, a big oak tree. I waited for the rain, I did it. I woke up in the ambulance, and for a second I felt this wave of pure, unadulterated relief. But then I saw him on the stretcher next to me. It was Jonas's face, but it wasn't him. The scar over his eye was gone, and he was smiling at me, this creepy, calm smile. And then the paramedic told me that my husband Jonas was fine, and that this man was his twin brother Elias, who just happened to be on the scene. Jonas is an only child. I've known him for 7 years. I've met his entire family. I've seen his baby pictures. There is no twin. There has never been a twin. Now I'm here in this room, and everyone is treating me like I'm made of glass. The nurses, the doctor, they all look at me with this sad, gentle pity. They keep talking about concussions and trauma. A few hours ago, Jonas came in with Elias. They stood there together, two versions of the same man, one playing the worried husband, the other the concerned brother-in-law I've never met. They are so good, they are so convincing that I almost, for a second, believed them. This has to be him, this has to be Jonas. This is a new game, isn't it? A new, sick level of control. He knew I was trying to leave, he must have. Is this his endgame, to make everyone, including me, think I'm insane, to have me declared incompetent, locked away somewhere so I can never, ever leave him? It's so much more twisted than just putting a lock on the door. He's trying to put a lock on my mind. Has anyone ever heard of anything like this? A gaslighting campaign this elaborate, this theatrical. Please tell me I'm not crazy. I'm staring at this screen, and it feels like the only real thing in the world right now. I just need one person to believe me. The next day, the man calling himself Elias came to visit me alone. Jonas was supposedly at home, getting some of my things to make me more comfortable, a phrase that sent a jolt of pure terror through me. My things, my life, all in his hands. Elias, on the other hand, was the picture of gentle empathy. He brought a small bouquet of freesias, which was unsettling because they're my favorite flower, a detail Jonas always made a point to forget. He pulled a chair up to my bedside, not too close, respecting my space. He spoke in a low, calm voice, a stark contrast to Jonas's clipped, impatient tones. He started telling stories. He talked about their supposed childhood in a small town I'd never heard of. He described Jonas as a shy, bookish kid, the exact opposite of the arrogant man I knew. He recounted a fishing trip where Jonas fell in a lake and Elias had to pull him out. He even laughed, a warm, genuine sound, as he remembered them switching places in a high school history class to fool a substitute teacher. The details were so rich, so specific, so full of life that my own certainty began to fray at the edges. What if I was wrong? What if Jonas, in his quiet, controlling way, had simply erased this entire person from his life, and my concussion had somehow shaken the truth loose? The thought was dizzying. I felt my grip on reality slipping, the floor tilting beneath my hospital bed. He was so good. He was a better version of Jonas than Jonas was. He listened. He made eye contact. He didn't interrupt. For a full 10 minutes I was mesmerized, caught in the web of his soft-spoken fiction, and then he made a mistake. He leaned forward slightly, his expression a perfect blend of sympathy and shared amusement. Jonas told me you were so determined to go on this little road trip, he said, his voice a conspiratorial whisper. He said you even packed your favorite old copy of Wuthering Heights. He said you're a hopeless romantic. The world stopped. The humming of the machines, the distant chatter in the hallway, my own heartbeat, it all went silent. Wuthering Heights, my worn, dog-eared paperback copy from college, the book I had hidden. The book I had tucked into the very bottom of my go bag, underneath a change of clothes and the envelope of cash I'd been siphoning for a year. The bag I had hidden in the trunk of the car, in a spot I was sure Jonas never looked. The only way anyone could have known it was in there was if they had gone through my bag after I'd packed it, after I thought I was finally safe. In that single, horrifying instant, the illusion shattered. The gentle, concerned face of Elias melted away, and all I could see was Jonas's smug, controlling cruelty, wearing a different man's smile. This wasn't a performance for the doctors and nurses. This was a performance for me. He wasn't trying to convince me, he was gloating. He was showing me the receipts of my failed escape, one by one, letting me know that he had found every secret, every hope, and now he was going to burn them all down in front of me. Update, he knows, oh God, he knows everything. Thank you to everyone who replied. I've been reading your comments in the dark, my phone screen so dim I can barely see the words. You've kept me sane for the last few hours. You've been the anchor in this storm, but it's worse than I thought. He came to see me today, the twin, Elias. He was alone. He was so charming, so kind, he almost had me. He talked about their childhood, all these little stories that sounded so real. I was starting to doubt myself, to think maybe the concussion really did mess me up. Then he mentioned my book. He mentioned the copy of Wuthering Heights that I packed in my escape bag, a bag my husband should never have known about, let alone what was inside it. It was a message sent directly to me. It was him saying, I see you, I know what you did, and you can't get away. After he left, I just lay here frozen. Then I saw the comment from user DataGeek77. Forget what people are telling you, trust what you can prove, public records, social media, yearbooks. If this guy is real, he exists somewhere outside of your husband's stories. If he's not, he doesn't. It was like a splash of cold water. My hands were still shaking, but now it was with adrenaline, not just fear. I waited until the night nurse did her rounds, then I opened my browser. My fingers flew across the screen. I searched for Elias Jonas's last name, nothing. No birth records, no social media profiles, no white pages listing. I tried different spellings, nothing, the man was a ghost. Then I changed my search terms. I typed in Jonas's name, not with twin but with theater, actor, university. And then I found it. It was an old article from his university's digital newspaper archive, dated 10 years ago. A review of a student production of a Shakespeare play. The lead role was played by Jonas. The reviewer praised his chameleonic ability to transform, his unsettlingly convincing performance as a villain pretending to be a hero. My blood ran cold, but it was the picture that made me drop my phone. It was a grainy black and white photo from the cast party. A younger Jonas, beaming, had his arms slung around another man. A man with the exact same face, the same build, but with a different, more relaxed energy. The caption beneath the photo read, Lead actor Jonah's last name celebrates with makeup and prosthetics artist Elias Vance, the man responsible for the show's stunning transformations. Elias Vance. Not his brother, a makeup artist, an actor's accomplice. This isn't just gaslighting. This is a production. Jonas didn't just find a random person who looked like him. He hired a professional artist of deception. He's not just trying to make me think I'm crazy. He's building the stage, writing the script, and directing the play in which I lose my mind. And everyone, the doctors, the nurses, the whole world, is the audience. The truth was 1,000 times more terrifying than any delusion. This wasn't a random, cruel twist of fate. It was a meticulously crafted conspiracy. Jonas hadn't just reacted to my escape plan, he had anticipated it, studied it, and created a countermove so diabolical it belonged in the pages of a thriller novel. He wasn't just trying to stop me from leaving. He was trying to dismantle my reality, brick by brick, until there was nothing left of the person who had dared to defy him. He wanted to own my sanity. I couldn't stay here. The hospital wasn't a sanctuary, it was the stage for my public execution. Every sympathetic look from a nurse, every chart checked at the foot of my bed was another nail in my coffin. They were all unwitting actors in his masterpiece. My leg throbbed, a dull, angry pulse, but the adrenaline was a fire in my veins, burning away the pain. I couldn't wait for a discharge. I couldn't wait for another visit from Jonas or his phantom twin. I had to go now. I watched the clock on the wall, timing the nurse's rounds. Carol, the kind-faced one, was the most predictable. She came in at 2 a.m. on the dot. I waited, my heart hammering against my ribs like a trapped bird. The moment she stepped out of my room and her soft-soled shoes padded away down the hall, I moved. I pressed the call button. I kept my thumb on it hard. Within 30 seconds, a different nurse, one I didn't recognize, burst through the door, her face a mask of alarm. What is it? What's wrong? I started gasping, clutching my chest. I can't breathe, I wheezed, putting every ounce of my own terror into the performance. My chest, it feels tight. Her professionalism kicked in. She rushed to my side, checking the monitors, her back to the door. Okay, just try to take slow breaths. I'm going to get the doctor. The second she turned to the intercom system by the bed, I threw off the thin hospital blanket. The pain in my leg was blinding, a sharp, screaming agony, but I ignored it. I swung my legs over the side of the bed, my bare feet hitting the cold linoleum floor. I grabbed the thin, pathetic hospital gown and held it closed, and then I slipped out the door into the dimly lit hallway. I didn't run. I shuffled, a ghost in a backless gown, hugging the wall. I passed the nurse's station, keeping my head down as they fussed over the intercom. I found the stairwell, the heavy fire door groaning as I pushed it open. Each step down was a fresh wave of agony in my leg, but each step was also a step away from him, away from them. I emerged in the sterile, empty lobby. The automatic doors slid open and the cold night air hit my face. It was the first real thing I had felt in days. I am on a bus now, heading west. I paid in cash all I had left from my ruined escape fund. The windows are streaked with rain, the world outside a blur of sodium lights and darkness. I haven't slept. I don't think I can. I have escaped the hospital, but I know with a chilling certainty that I am still a character in his play. The cost of this freedom was my old life. The old Anya, the one with a home and a history, is gone. She died in that hospital, not from a car crash, but from a truth too monstrous to live with. All that's left is a survivor running into the night. Final update, I'm safe for now. I'm in a library in a town whose name I've already decided to forget using their public computer. To those of you who asked why I didn't just call the police, what would I have told them? That my powerful, well-respected husband hired a professional special effects artist to pretend to be his long-lost twin, all as part of a psychological warfare campaign to drive me insane. They would have looked at me, a woman who just accidentally drove her car into a tree, and they would have made the same call the hospital staff did. They would have called Jonas. I have a new name. I cut my hair in a motel bathroom with a pair of rusty scissors. It's jagged and ugly, but it's mine. Sometimes, though, when I'm in a crowd at a bus station or a grocery store, I'll see a man with the same build as him, or hear a laugh that sounds like his, and my heart just stops. For a second, I forget how to breathe. Thank you, all of you, the strangers on this forum. In that quiet, sterile hospital room, when I was completely alone in the world, you were there. You were the single thread of sanity I had to hold on to. You let me believe myself. That was everything.